everybody, and thank you for coming back to Living To Do's review of Married at First Sight, Season 14, Reunion, Part 1. Before I get started, please like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. We would really appreciate it. And also, you can find us on Fanbase. Okay, so let's get started with this review. So we see that 5 months has passed since Decision Day. And the group is all together at first, and including Alyssa and Chris. And one thing we found out in their little brief conversation as a group with Kevin Frazier, um, I don't think Steve likes Lindsey. At that retreat, they had a little falling out, a little misunderstanding is what it was, and it looks like Lindsey took it to heart and was kind of being she was being petty and with Steve when she was commenting about her husband changing the diapers or whatever. She was looking at Steve, and Steve knew what she meant by that. And Steve didn't like the fact that Lindsey talked about their sex life. They found out through a producer. Lindsey denied it. Obviously, she was lying. I could just tell she was lying. The way she was trying to tell her side, she looked defensive and not like her normal self. I just knew she wasn't telling the truth. And we all know Steve. He's very literal. He's very clear. And I like the way he stood up to Lindsey. And thank you, Steve. That's all I got to say about that. Okay, so the first couple I'll talk about is Alyssa and Chris. She basically apologized, kind of, sort of, to everybody and to Chris about how she treated him. She's trying to blame everything on mental illness, the way she treated him. Um, they asked her why she wanted to go to the honeymoon. She thought she had to. Um, she was triggered, she says, when people said she wasn't there for the right reasons. She just looked, first of all, she was apologizing about how she treated him and what she said. And then she was kind of repeating herself from the whole series, little bits and pieces of what she was saying through the series. She was saying it again there after she apologized. She is off her rocker. Uh, she had no business being here. And in fact, I don't know why they even invited her to the reunion. I am really not interested in what she has to say. Um, it was day 10 when Chris asked for the divorce. I think she just wanted to break it off with him first. And I think he just beat her to the punch. And I think she was more upset about that than anything else. Um, the next couple we'll talk about will be Noi and Steve. They came in matching, kind of with an orange type of color. Well, she's wearing, yeah, it was an orangey tangerine type color, and he had a softer orange in his tie. Um, they did move in together, but she kept her own apartment, and she spends like 6 nights a week with Steve. So so they're not totally moved in together 100%. So Steve's finances, Kevin Frazier asked about how much money he has in this bank. Kevin, how much money do you have in your bank? That's so rude to ask. But I guess Noi is satisfied. Steve did mention that he's bought crypto early, so we don't know the exact dollar amount, but he's not hurting for money apparently. And even though we don't know how much he has in the bank, Noi seems satisfied. She seems like whatever's in that bank, she trusts that he can make money. So, so that's good. Special appearance was Noi's sister, Sharatza, and she's kind of giving approval to their union. She thinks it's cute. And Kevin asked her, is she surprised by her popularity? And in her true fashion. She was not surprised. She was dressed up. Her makeup was beat. She had it more makeup on than her sister. She came out in a blue, like a royal blue dress, I think it was. Long dress, gown. Uh, I could see her being on another reality show somewhere. She seems like she has a lot of personality. The next couple we'll talk about is Lindsey and Mark. Mark lost 40 pounds since, I guess, decision day. 5 months he lost. Guys can lose weight so fast. Actually, he still looked a little thick to me, or his suit was a little snug. Um, and Lindsey, this is the first time I liked what Lindsey had on as far as dressing up. I never liked anything she ever wore, but she looked nice um, today. This is the nicest I've ever seen her look. And we found out they are no longer together. And Mark says he had the worst arguments with her, worst arguments he's had in his life. He's been bullied in his lifetime, and she's been the worst bully. They got in a fight. I think they were together for maybe 2 months, and they got in a fight. And he threatened to kick her out of her house because she gave up her place to help renovate his place, and they lived in there. So she gave up her apartment, and but when they got in a fight, I know Lindsey said some mean, hurtful, threatening things to him. So she said that in the fight, he threatened to kick her out, charge her rent, and change the locks. Now, if that is the case, and we know what we know of you, Lindsey, Mark had his reasons for saying this. You probably took him to a place he's never been before. Alexa, stop. Sorry about that. Let's see. I believe what Mark is saying is true. Um, Lindsey believes she was used. She thinks that she gives more than what other people give her. She has the Lindsey magic. She thinks she made his life better when he was in a crisis. He had the bed bugs. His mother and his grandmother both in homes. They say he had bed bugs. Yeah, bed bugs in his job situation. The landlord acting crazy on his honeymoon, and she always said that Mark was in crisis, but I think that Mark's crisis was really Lindsey. Uh, she's too much. She is too much. Lindsey has made a big change in her life. She left Mark and moved to California. So she moved cross country to Palo Alto, where she's renting a condo. She thinks she can. She says things to hurt people. She thinks it's a better place for picking a better man. She says, and that's just rude. You can just say you're dating. She goes below the belt. She digs deep. She likes to hurt people, really hurt them because she's really hurt. Because why would if you know? I just know it's because she's hurt. She wants someone to hurt as much as she does. She also, again, she says things like he has no intellect. You have no intellect, Lindsey. This is not how you treat people. You, this is what's wrong with you. And Kevin asked, "Are you guys? Is a possibility that you can get back together?" And she said she has no desire to have him in her life. Boy, I just want to get rid of her altogether. Okay, so the next couple is Katina and Olajuwon. Katina comes out in this little Cleopatra wig. I prefer her with the long hair. I didn't like it so much. Um, Katina and Olajuwon are still together. Olajuwon gave Katina a ring. She was surprised. And in his discussion with Kevin, he just sounded like he matured. He didn't sound so immature like he did before and just rambling off the mouth, not making sense. They played back a lot of clips showing what he said, and he thought, and he's gonna blame somebody else. He thought somebody should have been around to tell him what a jerk he seems, how he's appearing on screen. Check yourself, kid. You know right from wrong. You know those things. Some of the things he was saying was just hurtful. He needs to see where she is as a woman, that her food is not edible, just all this crazy things. And Katina's putting up with it. I do see growth in him, and he was happy that she did not listen to the people on Twitter, because we had a lot to say about him, and listen to them and judge him based on what others was saying. He's glad that she just saw him for herself, and believed in him, and they both said that they loved each other. I think it was the first time they said that. They both said "I love you" on the show. Um, then there was some weird clip that Kevin played that wasn't played before. It was a clip with Pastor Cal and Katina and Olajuwon, and he was mad at her because she promised to do something and she didn't do it. And Pastor Cal was trying to get it out of them. What is it that she promised? And it's something that she does that relaxes me. And I was in the shower, he said, and she didn't do it. And so I guess we're just to assume we know what he's talking about. Um, well, I don't know. We'll just leave it right there. And also, he sold his home. So it looks like they might be getting a home together. He is really happy with his wife. Um, and they seem happy together. Everybody's blown away. Kevin was blown away. Honestly, I didn't think this would work. I think they would get fed up with one another, but I think it took a lot of growth in his part to settle down a bit to make it work. Um, I think that's everything for them. And the last couple, Jasmina and Michael. 2 weeks after decision day, they were living apart, and Michael broke up with Katina. I'm glad. I really wanted them to work, but I didn't want her to continue to hurt him either. And I think he put up with a lot. That's not what he came here for, is to have his wife live across town. They did get in some type of fight during a nasty fight, they said, while they were apart. She felt she put more work into the relationship than him. She explained that after decision day living apart, she would do all the texting and calling, and he, I guess, wasn't making much effort. Kevin told him, Michael, she puts you in the friend zone. That's what she basically did. And Katina is not dating at the moment, and Michael's not either, but there might be someone he looked at or had a little bit of an interest in. I don't think it's gone anywhere yet, and it took a lot for that to even come out. But they sat really close to each other on the couch, so you really kind of got the feeling. I think they even had their wedding rings on too, so you got the feeling that maybe they were together. But even after saying they're not, and she had Michael tell the story, because he's the one that broke it up. I They do seem like there's a closeness to them. They had one argument they were talking about. The first argument they had, month one, why um they couldn't communicate with one another, and she said something that triggered him, and made him feel like he was a threat to her, and there was no possible way he was a threat, and he didn't want any appearance as a threat, so they didn't talk to each other for their first month of marriage. So that's what happened there, and then they got closer, and um, I just I kind of blame Katina on this one for this relationship not working out. uh I think she's got some pain, some hurt that has not healed properly, and the walls are thick. They're up and they're thick, and I think they were coming down a little bit. And for some reason, I think the separation, I think they needed to be together a little bit more. Even do something like Noi was doing, maybe be away once a week. But I think they needed to work on it, go to counseling, and because she said that there was activities that Dr. Viviana asked them to do that really brought them closer together and start to talk and make it work. So I think they needed things like that and maybe more involvement on Michael's part because she says, with the separation, she thought she was working on the marriage more than he was. But it was sad. I just thought, I know he's shorter than her, but still, they had something, I thought, and um, unfortunately, it didn't work out, and it's her loss. And I think in time she will also see that as well. And I think that was it for part one. We'll have part two, and hopefully there will be nothing else. I can't understand why we could do 2 more hours of this, but part two next week. That is it for now. I gotta go because I got living to do. Thanks. Bye.